Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Worst Take. This is your host, James Storin, Cole Kim, with me as always. Today, we are going to be talking about the top three wide receivers heading into the 2022 season. Cole, tell me what you got.
So, just to give my honorable mentions, at number 5, I got D-Hop. He would be higher on this list. He'd be number 1 or number 2 if it wasn't for PEDs. And then number 4, I got Mike Evans, the man who bailed out Tom Brady out for a Super Bowl. But these two are not in my top 3 right now. At number 3, I have the man, the myth, the legend, Tyreek Hill. This man is the best deep threat in the NFL. And honestly, I would probably have him at number 2 or number 1 if it wasn't for the simple fact that he's going to be playing with Tua and he's going to be having to carry Tua. But this man has a lot of yards after catch. It wasn't always, Patrick Mahomes going chuck it, the plays breaking down. I want to go deep for Tyreek. It wasn't like that all the time last year. There was a lot of yards after catch with Tyreek Hill last year. And Tyreek Hill, maybe he could really start allowing Tua to make those precision passes, and Tyreek and Jalen Waddle, they're going to make some sweet magic getting the ball, and they're going to get like 30 yards after the catch. So I'm going to have Tyreek at number 3. He's the only reason he's this low is because that he's not playing with the rocket arm at Patrick Mahomes. But this man is without a doubt the best deeper, and let's not act like he doesn't have hands either. Like, he is honestly, you could argue, the most threatening wide receiver in the NFL.
No, I'm not a believer in Tyreek Hill. I'm sorry. Look, he's a very talented player. He's speedy. He's an amazing deep threat, but
the best deep threat.
Yes. I don't know. Jamar Chase is pretty good, but he just went from Patrick Mahomes to Tua. Okay, I'm sorry. That is such. No matter what he said, and you know what, I appreciate him sticking up for his quarterback in the media, but that is just a huge downgrade, okay? It's a downgrade to go from Patrick Mahomes to almost anybody, let alone a third-year quarterback who's totally still figuring out a system and just had his amazing coach get fired. So I don't think Tyreek Hill is going to come anywhere near with the same production as he had before. I hope he does, because I love the Dolphins and I'd love to see them finally get into the playoffs after knocking on the door for the past 2 years. But I cannot say with confidence that he is a top 3 receiver right now.
Tyreek Hill for the last 2 seasons has had 400 yards after the catch. That's a lot of yards after the catch, and I believe that his speed will allow him to open new holes in this Miami Dolphins offense that will allow Tua to finally, his arm strength, I admit, is somewhat lacking, but he could still be a Drew Brees type of player. And I still think that, if Tyreek Hill on his team, he doesn't need to have to go deep every single time. They can make the small yard gains, small safe passes, and Tyreek, he's still going to zoom right past you. So I got Tyreek at number 3. And number 2, I got Stefon Diggs.
Okay.
Now this man is the complete package. He is the complete package. He can catch it. Look, before Stefon Diggs was on the Bills, Josh Allen, we were legitimately talking about if Josh Allen was a bust or not. We were talking about how this guy has to take the next step. And you know who allowed him to take this next step? Stefon Diggs. Now, admittedly, he had one bad playoff game, and it wasn't the greatest playoff showing against the Chiefs. But other than that one game, this man has been magical. He has had arguably one of the greatest plays of all time during the Minneapolis Miracle. And this, we're talking about a guy who's got speed. He can get separation. He can do everything. He can make catches from anywhere down the field. He's got great hands, and okay, look, Cole Beasley might not be back, and the chances are he's probably going to be gone. That's going to make Diggs the most targeted wide receiver for the Bills. And boy, I think that Gabriel Davis is good. I don't think that he's going to have half the yards of Stefon Diggs. I think Diggs might actually go for what Kupp did this year.
Now, no disrespect to Stefon Diggs, but you are increasingly, Cole, losing all credibility that you have as a football analyst when you say stuff like this. 2020, sure, I would put Stefon Diggs as a top 3 receiver. But no, not in 2021, okay? He had 1,225 yards. That is nowhere close to the production of guys like Cooper Kupp, who had 1,900 plus. Jamar Chase was a rookie and had nearly 1,500 yards, okay? Stefon Diggs had only 10 touchdowns. He was a solid player, a great player. But I cannot call him a top 3 wide receiver heading into next season. Okay? Stefon Diggs has always been a solid player. He had his one amazing year in 2020, and then he's going to be a solid player from now on, but nowhere close to the top 3. I'm sorry.
He's only 29 years old. He's entering his prime. Josh Allen is already an MVP caliber player, and he's getting better. This man is getting better. He had almost 14, 15 interceptions last year. Look, if he starts lowering those picks again, that's how Diggs is going to get the ball more. He's going to be getting a lot more wide open now. And, without Cole Beasley to take away some of his catches, he's going to have easily 1,600 yards. We both know that Josh Allen could open downfield more than almost any other quarterback, except for maybe a Patrick Mahomes and a Matthew Stafford. And Josh Allen and Stefon Diggs are going to make some sweet magic next year. And trust me, he's going to go for around he's going to pass 1,500 yards. The question is, could he hit 2,000? At number 1, we've talked about him. We've hinted him before. I got Cooper Kupp, the Triple Crown winner. I mean, I've been saying for years that, Stafford is an amazing quarterback, and, his arm talent allows him to unlock pieces of the offense that a lot of guys cannot do, like Jared Goff cannot do. And having someone like that, and having a mutant of a player like Cooper Kupp, who's got the IQ of a quarterback. He can catch it anywhere. He's not the fastest guy. He's not necessarily, the most biggest wide receiver, but he can get open. He can get anywhere he wants on the field, and he can catch the damn ball. That's the thing. He can get anywhere on the field and he can catch the ball. He can go deep if you want to. He can go short if you want to. Him and Stafford have made some sweet magic. There's a reason why he's a Triple Crown winner. And there's a reason why after, many years of Jared Goff, he was very good. No one would say that Kupp was a bad receiver under Jared Goff, but it was under Stafford where he elevated his game. And where is Stafford? He's still in LA. And I think that once again, Kupp will have perhaps he'll hit another 2,000-yard season.
Well, for the first time, I believe, in Worst Take history, I'm going to hit you with a somewhat respectable as my analysis. It seems like you're kind of a sucker for the past because you've got your present day greats with Cooper Kupp, and then you've got your 2020 great with Diggs and your 2018 great with Tyreek Hill. So, sure, if you're talking legacy-wise, I can maybe see the argument. But no, not if we're going into 2022. Cooper Kupp is the only one in those 3 that belongs in the top 3. End of discussion, end of story. Again, you got to keep your credibility up. You got to keep your credibility up, man. If you want to hear a real top 3 take, then that's what I'm going to give to you right now. At number 3, I'm going with the young talent, Jamar Chase. Okay? Jamar Chase averaged 18 yards per reception. That is insane. Had 13 touchdowns in the regular season and had nearly 1,500 yards. These are all amazing top 3 stats. And he was a rookie. What other receiver have you seen put up those kind of numbers in his rookie year? Jamar Chase is one of the greats. I am calling it right now. He is on track to become a Hall of Famer. He is going to be a guy like Calvin Johnson, Reggie Wayne. He is going to be up there with the all-time greats, even Jerry Rice, when it is said and done.
Should I do the Jamar Chase? Oh, I can't catch the ball. I can't catch the ball when it matters the most.
All right.
Jokes aside, I think Jamar Chase is probably the greatest wide receiver prospect that I've seen in my lifetime. As a draft prospect, I was always high on him. Admittedly, his preseason was very concerning for me. But before the draft, what I saw with him in LSU, he was, I think, the greatest wide receiver prospect I've ever seen. That being said, You need to get off the Cincinnati Bengals high. It was one deep playoff run. And don't get me wrong, Jamar Chase had a sensational rookie season. And you can make the argument that he's the only reason that the Bengals weren't a tanking team. But that being said, he does not have the experience. He does not have the hands. He does not have the versatility of all the guys that I mentioned before. He's a great speedster. He's great on the one-on-one, but that's about it. He doesn't have the yards after catch that Tyreek Hill necessarily does. He doesn't have the versatility of a Diggs and Cooper Kupp. That's why I can't pit Jamar Chase that high. He's got plenty of potential. And I think that, in 2 or 3 years, he's going to crack this top 3 list easily. But just right now, he's, defenses are going to start figuring him out. They started to figure him out in the playoffs as well. The Tennessee Titans did a good job of containing him. They're starting to figure out his one-on-one routes, and they're starting to figure out how to, because he's a deep speedster, but that's his big game. He's a top 10 receiver. Maybe on a good day, he's a top 5 receiver. I cannot give you him as a top 3 receiver right now. There's too many guys with more versatility and more experience.
Well, for one, I appreciate the fact that you actually said something positive about the Tennessee Titans a moment ago, because I think that was long overdue. I guess I kind of see your point, but I still think he's a top 3 receiver. Number 2 is going to surprise you. And it says a lot to this guy that it's surprising that he's number 2, because I'm going to say Cooper Kupp. First of all, I mean, he had an amazing, incredible, probably the second best wide receiver season ever last season. And he deserves all of that credit, right? And I mean, the Triple Crown is incredibly difficult to get, nearly broke the record for most receiving yards in a single season, nearly had 2,000 yards, so was the Super Bowl MVP. The list goes on and on. Total breakout season. Here's my concern. We see players, quarterbacks, running backs, receivers, tight ends, every position that has that one amazing breakout year. And from then on, they are a solid player, but they can never return to that form that they once had. I'm looking at guys like 2019 Christian McCaffrey, 2019 George Kittle, just to name a few recent years. I've got to see one more year of A-level top 3 production to really cement him as my number 1 receiver going forward. He has to do that more than 1 year in a row. Which brings me to my number 1, a guy who has been very, very solid for years and years and years. Last year put up over 1,500 yards, despite it being his last dance in his town before he is moving to play with his old college teammate, Davante Adams. Number 1 wide receiver. Do you know why? Because he consistently is a top 2 wide receiver year after year after year. So when you aggregate all of that, he's number 1. No questions asked. Now, I know he is no longer playing with Aaron Rodgers, but I actually think he's going to be better on the Raiders than he was on the Packers. He doesn't have to deal with any of that Aaron Rodgers, Brian Gutekunst drama. He's playing with his old college teammate. He's in the Sin City, far cry from cold Green Bay, Wisconsin. He is going to be rejuvenated. He is going to be what keeps the Raiders in the playoffs, despite the crazy strengthening in the AFC.
Mr. James, are you high? Because it seems like you're on the Madden NFL drug. You must have seen that 99 Madden rating and go like, that's my top 3 list. Davante Adams, he's number 99. He's got to be my number 1. Adams, I think, has been, along with Michael Thomas, the most overrated 2 wide receivers in the NFL for the last 5 years. And look, let's get this first out of the way. You were talking about how my list was, oh, you're not looking into the future, you're only looking to the past. Yet you bring up over and over what Davante Adams did in the years before. Look, he had Aaron Rodgers throwing him the ball. A lot of wide receivers can be great with Aaron Rodgers throwing you the ball. And let's be honest here, Davante Adams wasn't even a great fit for Aaron Rodgers, yet Aaron Rodgers still inflated his stats. Look, here's my problem with Davante Adams. He's a great route runner. if anything, he's almost like the opposite Jamar Chase. He's the greatest, one of the greatest technical wide receivers of all time, but he does not have that speed and physical ability as a lot of the guys I named on my list, and both of the guys on your list as well. He doesn't have the physical ability of a lot of these guys. I mean, he's a great guy, to go, get, small yard, 10 yards, 15-yard gains, middle of the field. But when you want to go deep, I am not trusting Devontae Adams with the ball. I am not going to throw it to him on a deep seam route or a deep post route. And look, he's a good wide receiver. I'd say he's might crack my top 10.
Oh, top 10?
He cracked my top 10. He cracked my top 10. I'll give you that much. He cracked my top 10.
Okay.
But you are on the drugs because you are right. Is on the Madden high. I cannot give you the Devontae Adams. If he said he was like an honorable mention, like a number 5 or a number 4, I would have been like, okay. I mean, I think you're a little bit on the high, but I get it. But I cannot give you the very respectable. I'll have to give you the little bit respectable to the somewhat respectable, just because of the Devontae. I think obviously Jamar Chase. I think you're obviously looking at a one season a little bit too much, and we're gonna have to see him next season to see it again. But Cooper Kupp, obviously, we both agree is a top 3. There's no debate about that. I don't know about Devontae Adams.
Oh, well, you heard it here first. Or maybe not. Maybe you heard it somewhere else. That is it for now, and we will see you next time on Worst Take.